Hey guys, this is John, and I'm back in the little Categorizer world. So I had some questions about, uh, first of all, expanding the Categorizer. So I wanted to go ahead and cover that as well as some other issues that you might have with this. Okay, so this one is one of the ones that I had here. This is the newest model, and um, I've already expanded this one from whatever it was, 8 to I think I'm up to like 21. And I ran it through a full, sort for every chest. So I went ahead and put items in every index and, just double checked everything because I knew it was expandable anyway, but I just wanted to, have a little proof. So anyway, it is very possible to expand it. Like I said, it is infinitely expandable because everything on this side remains the same, like all the circuitry, everything here never has to change. So you could literally make this like 100 chests. I wouldn't make it 100 chests because, okay, you're going to have problems if you start to cross chunk boundaries, right? So you don't want to go out of your ticking area with this. So like if you're on a realm, you cannot, even though I say it's infinitely expandable, you cannot make this infinitely long, okay? So what I mean by that is basically that this in and of itself can be, it's redundant. You can just keep adding them. And, this doesn't affect the rest of the system. But of course, if you go, outside of the ticking area or the loaded chunks area, then, things are going to get a little wacky. I don't know exactly what would happen. It probably wouldn't do anything, right? So I wouldn't suggest making this thing a mile long and having chests. Um, but to go ahead and show you how you can expand it. So first of all, this is another model. So the way that you expand this is by you just remove some of the rails, and we're going to get rid of all this. Okay, and we can leave the hoppers there. So let's just say that I wanted to add another like 3 chests here, right? Okay, so 3, and then that'll be my corner. All right, so add my other chest, add some observers, add my droppers, make sure that they are pointing in the correct direction. You don't want them to be pointing sideways or anything else because that would just be a nightmare. Yeah, I need to get rid of that torch. Okay, so then we'll just expand our blocks, put down some more comparators, and then we can go ahead and put down more hoppers. Okay, so remember first of all that you're going to need an overflow that's going to be one past your item sorters, right? So that's always going to be your last hopper, and put the hopper, your end hopper, pointing down. In fact, you don't really have to have that pointing down. It's not going to matter. It has no bearing on the way that this is going to work because that hopper is always going to be unlocked and it's always going to pull an item out. But if you did, whenever you go to expand it, if you did have your last one pointing down, you're going to want to make sure that you break that and have it pointing sideways, right? So that way the items can keep going. Alright, so we will just go ahead and put in the other comparators. So if you expand it to where, I think I mentioned this last time, but to where your last hopper or your second to last hopper has a comparator, you can't put 2 comparators next to each other. In this case, they're the proper fit, but if you have a hopper here at the end and you can't put one in front of the last hopper, then it doesn't matter. You can just, forfeit it because that's not going to affect the way that it operates. Anyway, So we're going to put dust, our repeaters, and then to finish this, we're going to put our hoppers pointing down into the index, put our comparators in, and we can go ahead and put blocks. But we need to make sure that we put in our items into the droppers. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. All right. So that is how that is lengthened, and I'll go ahead and put down some more rails. Okay. So if you don't remember, you just put 2 blocks coming out, a transparent block there, and then you're going to want to build up to where you have this little step, right? And then you can come out by a couple blocks and lay down your powered rails. Okay. Curved rails, and then finally make sure that all of your rails are powered. So let's see if I move this one over by 2, if that's going to be enough. No, close. Tell you what, we'll just get rid of that one. And likewise, if I move this one over, that's probably not going to be enough. But we'll just put it here to where those are powered. Yeah, okay, so that's plenty. Alright, so make sure that all your rails are powered. And then finally, whenever you go to expand it, I'll just show you this. Okay, so if you just have your redstone like that, what you want to do is come back here with a torch or a lever and see where your redstone signal ends. Okay, so it's kind of hard to make out, but that's my last power level, right? So that's power 1, then 2, then 3, or signal strength level, however you want to say it. Okay, so these 2 droppers would never get reset because they're not getting power. So the way that you fix this is by saying that we're going to come back by 1, 2, come back to the 3rd one, and we're going to put a repeater there, and then on the side of the repeater you're going to put 2 blocks and then put dust on those 2. Okay, so that should make sure that everything is reset, right? And the reason why you have to put these 2 blocks down, so I'll just go ahead and show you down here. I was already playing around with it because, you know, I think it's pretty dumb the way that they designed this. But so a dropper in and of itself acts as a powered block. So if we put a redstone lamp here, right? So if I put dust going into this block is powered, so it's going to power, you know, other redstone devices next to the block. Well, the same is true for a dropper. So a dropper is going to act as a powered block, you know, like a powered solid block. So you can see that it's powering the redstone lamp. Well, the same holds true if you have another dropper next to it, okay? So just say like if we put in an item in here, this may or may not work because sometimes it's buggy. Okay, so when this dropper is powered directly by dust, it's also going to power another dropper next to it. Now, for some reason, whenever they excuse me. Okay, so whenever they design this, the way that this works, like when you have 2 droppers pointing into each other, like all of the droppers up here, you have one on top, one on the bottom, you know, pointing into each other. So if I directly power this dropper, even though it's got an item and it's facing the other dropper, it's not going to send the item. You know, I don't know why they made it like this. It's stupid. honestly. So what I'm saying is that for the droppers on the top, you have to see. So now it sent the item over. So you have to power them through a block. Okay. So what I mean is that you cannot just put the dust on top of the dropper because that's not going to work. You have to have blocks here. Okay. And of course you put 2 blocks here because the repeater is not getting any signal below it. So in order to reset this dropper, you're going to have, you know, a block on top of it with dust, right? So that's why you put the 2 blocks here with the dust. Okay. So anyway, once you find, you know, where that is and add the correct repeater and, you know, blocks, you should be good to go. So we'll go ahead and do a little test on this one. Let me put some chests in the front. Oops. Alright, so just say that this was one that we just added, so whatever, give me anything. Alright, so that'll be the 3rd chest back. So let's just say that we throw 5 items in there, and we put some redstone. Okay, so that was the 3rd chest back, but because we have an overflow, of course, that's going to be the last chest, so that's going to be the 4th one. Alright, and redstone. Oh, you know what? Is that the correct one? Oh, okay, that's the correct one. Yeah. Alright, so we got 10 redstone. Okay, so I wanted to go ahead and cover another issue. So that's how you expand it, right? Now, what I have not gone through is how to expand it sideways. And that's actually something that I have not looked at before. Okay, but what I'll go ahead and do is cover some of the other issues, and then I'll look at playing around with that if you want to keep watching. Okay, so some of the issues with this is that this is a very, you can see that it's a very complicated machine, right? So you cannot leave the area, you cannot unload the chunk while this is sorting. And there are various things that may happen, various things that may break if you decide to unload the area or leave the game, okay? So we'll just let that sort through. Now just say that if it's going to be in the middle of sorting out a stack or whatever. Okay, so we're starting to get cobblestone, so let me just run out of the chunk. And I don't know how far I need to go, but let's just say right there. Okay. So if you unload the chunk or leave the game, we'll just see what happens. Okay, so the only thing I had in there was cobblestone, so it doesn't need to search twice for cobblestone, right? But it's going to do that anyway, because when you leave the game, whatever it's doing, it all stops. Alright, so now it's going to, you know, look for cobblestone again. Okay, that was everything. Alright, so we got 62 cobblestone there. Let me make sure nothing went into the overflow. Now, just say that if I wanted to sort something else, right? Okay, so I'll put in 3 redstone, so let's see what happens. And of course we got all 3 redstone. You know, working correctly is kind of defeating my point of it being broken. Okay, so one of the problems is if you leave the area, the whole dropper elevator here will just stop working, right? So when it stops working, it's going to have an item sitting in one of the droppers. That can be, one of the top three. So the problem happens when you go and input any other item. All right, so let's see if this will act up. Oh, you idiot. Now it's not going to act up. Okay, so what I was going to try to show you is that sometimes whenever you put a different item in here, so the dropper has a 50-50 chance. Okay, so whenever you're sorting for the redstone or for anything else, it's going to enter this dropper. Then this dropper is going to fire. So the dropper can either fire the cobblestone or it can fire the redstone. It just so happened in the 7 redstone that I put in, you got a 50-50 chance of getting one or the other, and it was just always redstone. But anyway, so what will happen is that the redstone can take the cobblestone's place in the dropper, and because we're searching for redstone, it's going to send the cobblestone out into the redstone stack, right? So if you see anything like this, and it's not only that, it's if I put another item in that just say, it's supposed to come down here. Now the redstone in here has a chance of trading places with whatever the next item is, and then you're going to see the redstone come out down here. See what I mean? So then you're going to be like, okay, so why do I have cobblestone right here, and why do I have redstone wherever that was? And so this is the reason why, is because you have an item trapped in one of the droppers that just keeps trading places with another item, and then eventually you may see like random items all over the place, and that's why. So if you ever see that happen, check your droppers, make sure you don't have anything in there. Okay. But like UGN TV was saying in one of his comments that he unloaded the area, he fixed that, and then he had a lot of other issues with the items not going properly, and so I hope he gets that figured out, or I hope we can get that figured out. But who knows what happens when you unload the area, okay? So like if the minecart is here, and I unload the area or leave the game, who knows? I mean, the minecart could disappear. They've been known to do that. Any entity has been known to despawn crossing chunk boundaries, you know. So it's best to, while you're sorting, it's best to just leave it to sort, to not decide to leave the area, because this is a very complicated machine and a lot of things can go wrong. So anyway, some of the things that I would check. So if you have any issues with this machine, like random things happening or things breaking, I'd go through, check, and make sure that you still have the correct items in the filter. So 19111. Make sure that you have all 4 filter items here. If you're on this version of the machine, make sure that when it is turned off, when everything is done and it's not looking, make sure that this dropper is this is the default dropper that should contain the item, right? So make sure that whatever item you put in here, it's always going to be in this forward-facing dropper, or actually, the rear-facing forward dropper. Yeah. So that one should have the item in it. And also go through, if you have other issues, go through and look around and see, because sometimes when things break, you may get a filter item from the hopper may disappear, right, from the minecart. So go through and check and see if the filter is in one of your index chests, because if you have a filter item in here, then that's just going to break everything. Also, what it does have a tendency to do is if something does break, then it will start to spread items around the index, so it may pull out that redstone, and then, if one of the hoppers down here, something is unlocked, then it may put the redstone here, right? And then whenever it comes back around, it may inject the filter item in there. You see what I mean? So go through, if you're having some serious issues with it, go through, check everything in the index, make sure that the items are where you want them to be, and that you don't have any filter items, making their way around. Aside from that, normally, under normal circumstances, I don't think this should ever break. If it does, then we can try to work through it, or you can try to figure out what the problem is. But anyway, so yeah, for safety's sake, don't leave the chunk. Okay. So now, if you want to go into an experimental territory, so I have never before played with turning one of these, so I don't exactly know how you could turn one. Let's see, but we're gonna find out. Let's say, so say we get rid of all that. I mean, it shouldn't be too hard anyway. So let's see. So if I have one there, then the next place that I could put a chest, if that's going to be like a double output chest, then the next place that I could realistically put one would be right here. Let's see. How would that look? Not good. So maybe better to leave a space there. Right. I mean, now it still looks a little off, but I don't think you have much of a choice. Well, I guess we could put it here. Yeah, you could put one right in the corner. Alright, so this is just seeing what I would need to do if I did want to expand this. Alright, so we're going to have 2 hoppers here. So if you wanted to expand this and make it, like a circle, or I guess it wouldn't really be a circle. But just say that we have something there, and if you want to block that off so you don't see anything, so something in the corner. Oof. Yeah, that'd be a lot of hoppers to make it around a corner. But you could probably just make it like a square. Alright, so you would need a block, comparator, block, dropper, observer, and your chest, right? So can we make a diagonal line from here? Let's see. So block, comparator, block, dropper, observer. Yeah. And it'd be better to come out one. I guess like that. Is that how you do it? Yeah, so if that would be your last one, or let's just go ahead and add another one. other rails. Did I really go up too high? No. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. I guess that would work. Alright, so observers, I don't need those. I need to put my droppers in. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3 droppers, blocks, droppers. Okay, so not there. So you need your blocks, and then your comparators below that. Yep, so we got comparators, and then you put your blocks on top. And then here we would have comparators, a dust. We would need a repeater there. Ooh, okay, so this would be a tough part. Because the way that this works, we would actually have to put comparators all the way around. Yep. Yep. Which is kind of a waste. Okay. So, oh, no, that's going to be, oh, okay, so that's going to be our, yeah, so this would be our overflow here. And that hopper is going to need to go to there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a tough one. I'd have to look into how this was done before, how some of the other guys had made it curved, and see what they did. But I mean, this is experimental. If you wanted to try this out and see what it does, or if you could, you know, if somebody wanted to do this in their own world and then come up with a better method. Let's see. If I could get rid of that one. So we're going to come there. Pretty much make this one just like the lower track. Okay. And then put rails. Alright. And then we would have to extend the signal for this. And I don't exactly know the best way to do that. But we'll just bring that along to here. Come out with a repeater. And then see. Yeah, so that one doesn't make it. Well, just put you there. Okay. Let's see. Then we should be able to just do like we normally do. And put some powered rails here. Curved rail. Okay. Power that one, and let's see. Torch there. And did I have items in those? No. Alright, so all we need now is to power those. Okay, and that should be good. That's going to be our overflow, so let's add... Yeah, so I mean, if you really wanted to have a lot of chests, I mean, it would probably be tough. Let's get some bread. Because if you had to curve it or do something like this, you know, because I mean, you could do it. It's just going to take a little bit more material. You can make it more compact than this, I'm sure, but so let's see what happens. Let's just put 32. And make sure that that one pulled. Yeah. And the bread is going to slowly work its way down. What happened? Oh, you know what happened? Oh, man. So, yeah, there's that. Yeah. Okay. So I'd already think that it finished because all the bread got stuck right there. Right? Alright, so we'll just do 60. So that should have reset, which it did. That's going to pull out the bread, put the bread back. And then if I did not mess up any of the hoppers, then it should send it all the way down. Okay. And that was what, the second one? Okay. So yeah, so you could turn it if you wanted to. You can make a big, like a square sorting area kind of thing. And that would actually be better than trying to make it very long, because if you made it very long and started to cross the, you know, like the ticking area, you know, then that would not be good. That wouldn't work, obviously. So anyway, this has been a learning experience even for me. So it is very possible to expand it. There's not a lot to it. You just have to keep an eye out for certain things. Make sure you have blocks here. And I mean, that's pretty much it. Make sure that you don't, wherever your previous output hopper was pointing down, make sure it's pointing sideways. And you should be good to go. All right, so Thank you for watching. Hope that answered some questions. If you have any more questions, feel free to let me know. And until then, I guess I will see you in the next video.